tailwheel fighter because the nose sticks way up out front. You can't see. You cannot see what's in front of you. So you've got to continually S-turn down the taxiway to see what you're looking at. And you get the nose out of the way, look out the side, take a look. Yep, that looks clear. Then you can't go off the taxiway, so you come back the other way and look out this side. And it sort of looks like a drunk weave, but it's got its purpose to it, and it's something you have to do. And if you don't do it, you're gonna hit something sometime. We've seen fighters chew up airplanes. We saw T-6 once chew up a Cessna 150. It just took the tail right off. Hardly hurt the T-6, but it sure did chew up the 150. The coolant temperature's looking really good now. We're up to about 60 degrees, which is the red line on coolant. We're going, it's climbing towards 70. The oil is still below 40 degrees centigrade, so we still can't do anything. We've got to sit here and warm up. Once the coolant temperature goes above 100, you better be quick, because the needle can rapidly move to the 125 degree red line. With some modern radiators, we've been able to push that another 5 or 10 degrees higher. But if you get so close and the coolant begins to overheat, you only got two options. You point it back in the wind, go to 1500 RPM, open the coolant door full open, and that'll give you enough air through the radiator, hopefully, to cool it down. If that doesn't work, all you can do is shut it down, because what you're going to get before too much longer is an expansion plug pop, which pops up in the front of the header tank, and the airplane then looks like a Stanley steamer. And all you can do is shut down and reset the system and wait till it cools off. But today I don't think we're going to have that problem. It's very cool outside. The coolant's just slowly creeping up, and the oil seems to be creeping up slowly. So we won't have that problem. We've got our minimum temperatures now. We'll go right on up to 2300 RPM for run-up. And the incredible thing about this isn't even cruise power, and it really sounds like we're going. The power goes way up. It sounds like it's going way up. It's really not. We'll go right up to 2300 RPM. Cycle the propeller. Cycle it again. Get warm oil up in the dome. Check the magnetos. Right. Both. Left. Both. They're in limit. Everything looks in the green. Bring the power right on back. But that's just an engine run-up. That's not full power in the airplane. It always surprises a new Mustang pilot to do that, because it sounds like the world's coming to an end. It's really not. Go through the before takeoff checklist. Harness locked. Boost pump on. Altimeter set, canopy locked. Oil door we'll put into automatic. We'll leave the coolant door in manual, full open. Trim set. A fuel selector on the left main, mainly because the carburetor feeds about 10 gallons an hour back into the left tank. It's a vent overflow, and if you have it on the right tank and forget, leave it and take off, you will vent the fuel out. So you can actually lose gas and not know you're doing it, just because it's venting the extra overflow out. Then you double check something very important, and that's the last thing here, other than rechecking the boost pump being on, is throttle friction set. I remember the first time I ever took off with the throttle friction loose. I came up on the power, everything was looking good, I got airborne and let go of it to bring the gear up, and I reached out for the gear handles and the throttle drifted back to about 20 inches. I thought I'd lost the engine. I thought I was going to go in. I came back on the power, brought it back up, and then I finally found out what it was. Well, you can't let go of the throttle until you get enough altitude to lose the power, reset the friction, and bring the power back up so it stays set. So you want to double check that every time. Well, there's nothing left to do but fly, so let's get some permission to take off, and all this adrenaline bouncing around inside, we better fly, so I can get rid of some of it. And here comes a real decision-making point, because to tell you the truth, you either like flying single-seat fighters or you don't. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. You're in here by yourself with thousands of horsepower, It's an older airplane. It's a fighter pilot environment where you make all the decisions. Some people don't like it. Some people want multi-seat flying. Others thrive on single seats. Myself, I love single seat flying. I think it's just terrific. So pull out on the runway. And the interesting thing about this is you pull out and then the runway disappears again. You cannot see. So the key is to keep your feet moving on takeoff. Don't let the tail fly up too soon. Otherwise, that big gyroscope out front does make a difference. Here we go, up on the power. To watch for on takeoff is to make sure that you don't let the airplane get away from you with the torque. Now, it's not impossible to handle, but the key really is making sure that you don't let the tail fly up too soon, because if you do, the torque will pull it to the left and there's not enough rudder to steer it. The tail wheel steering should be left on as long as you can. And then once you do get airborne, and you pull the gear handle up, you want one motion on the gear handle. If you don't, you go in between, you can actually get the gear sequencer out of whack. And if you do that, what happens is you can actually have the wheels going up and down at different points, or the gear doors, fairing doors on the inside stay up, and the wheels will hit the outside of the doors, and it gets all crazy. No matter what you do, the wheels will just don't seem to want to straighten out. What you do is you pull the hydraulic dump handle, dumps all the pressure, lets the wheels fall down normally, lock into place, then you start again. We'll make successive power reductions here. Back to 36 inches at 2,400 RPM. That gives you a leisurely climb out. Not using a lot of fuel, very easy to do. You can see we just got absolutely wonderful visibility on this airplane. You can look around, the canopy is just incredible. It's not like a normal airplane, or particularly an airliner, because you're able to see out of this airplane. You can turn around, look back, look in either direction. It's absolutely fantastic. One of the most pleasant of all the airplanes to fly. The controls are not particularly light, and I suppose that's a real surprise to most people. They expect a fighter to be sort of fingertip control. It's not. It's very much a hands-on airplane. You can see why in World War II these 18-year-old guys had to horse it around.
Knowing that we are now headed out for the real thing for the first time is beyond description. We circle the field to get everyone into set course formation. It's a beautiful sunny day with about 3/10 clouds at about 8,000 feet. It's a great feeling to look around the formation. knowing who is in each plane, guys you've flown with and lived with in the States, and now together doing the job you were trained for and in the airplane you'd hoped to fly. Crossing out over the North Sea, Colonel Hayes calls oilskin feet are wet. I know that a lot of us are taking a last look at the beautiful green English countryside, knowing that this will be our home from now on. We climb steadily up to 20,000 feet. Up ahead, I can see the French and Belgian coast. We make landfall near Dunkirk. I've read enough about that place. The sky is clear and blue. The land below looks so green and peaceful with those scattered, puffy clouds. Then wham, bang, it's black at 7 o'clock. There it is for the first time. It doesn't look dangerous, it just appears like magic. Black and umbrella shaped. We make some evasive turns and nothing really comes close to us. But I really get a stab of excitement each time I hear that call of flak.
Contrary to popular legend, the Mustang was not a maneuverable airplane. It was fine, but it was not a Spitfire. It was not a very light airplane. It had to fly 600 miles into Germany, and quite often it was a compromise. But the airplane is very smooth and very, very positive. It is not a difficult airplane to fly, and the controls are not excessively stiff. It's more like flying a Rolls Royce than a Maserati. That's about the only way I know to describe it. There's a great deal of difference. One is very skittish and one's very smooth. And I'd say, of all the airplanes, the Mustang is probably the Rolls Royce of the bunch. It's the Cadillac. The other airplanes that give similar feel are the P-47 and Corsair, and those with a R2800 engine, probably the smoothest engine ever built. The Merlin is a little more noisy, has a little more vibration. V12, surprisingly, does not run as smooth as a 18-cylinder radial, but it's still a delightful engine and a wonderful thing to fly. So there's some wingovers here, and the airplane just stays on rails and wingovers. You can lift it up like this, roll it over, and it just stays where you put it. You look where you're going, it comes back down out of the wingover just beautifully. Reverses direction beautifully. And you build up a little steam. Let her come back down, wings level, up over on the other side. It does effortless wingovers. It does no problem at all. It'll come back down out of the sky. It'll get going downhill pretty quick too. Because you've got a lot of power and a lot of weight. You have to be careful. You can also high-speed stall. The laminar flow wing is a high-speed wing, and this is where guys get into trouble with the airplane as well. They'll tend often to yank on it too hard, and the airplane will do a snap roll and spin out on the guy. And if you're at low level, it'll kill you. Just spin into the ground. You've got to train people how to handle a high-speed wing. And that sense is a little bit like a jet fighter, but it doesn't have as much warning. In World War II, these airplanes were notorious for giving you no warning at a stall. Let's go ahead and do a roll. Really quite like it's fun to roll in this because again the ailerons are so very smooth. You can do a roll out of cruise in a Mustang, but I'll come down and get about 300 miles an hour, certainly over 250. Dump the nose. Keep the ball centered. And here we go. The loop is not a difficult thing to do in a Mustang. Get about 300, get the nose going downhill real steep, put about 4 G's on it, and he goes right around.